Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. My name is SkyLaaa, and today I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on characters from Undertale. Special thanks to the Great Egg for the team idea. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into the battles. So I'm using an Undertale team today, and my opponent is gonna lead off with Lugia. Oh my gosh, what a mashup versus Sans, my Duskull. Now, Undertale has a lot of characters in it, and unfortunately I couldn't include every single one. Like, Sans is on this team, but I couldn't include Papyrus, because for him, in my opinion, I think Marowak suits him the best, but Marowak isn't in this game, so I had to make a lot of decisions on what Pokemon I wanted to be on this team or not. So this is a max health, max defense Duskull. I actually ran a Duskull in my last video. Go check it out. And this Duskull is a bit of a different set though. It's Trick Room, it has Curse, it has Nightshade, and Memento. So the whole idea is that I set up the Trick Room and then try to get it off the field as soon as possible, just so that I could easily swap in another one of my Pokemon. This team was kind of half Trick Room, kind of not, as you also see. Now, something else I also want to say is that I recently hit 250 subscribers, so thank you all so much. If you like Theme Team content, I'm actually like really close to 300 subscribers, so you know, you can help me get there. I would really appreciate it. If you like Theme Team content, I upload this on a regular basis, and I would genuinely really appreciate it. So this Lugia is going to continuously set up Calm Mind. It's really trying to go for a game. It's demonic that this Pokemon even let off in the first place. It also had safety goggles as its item, which is really interesting. It's like an anti-spore tech. So this Ralts was pretty interesting. This was also another Trick Room Pokemon on this team. I had Encore on this, so now the Lugia is going to be locked into the Calm Mind, and it's going to suffer curse damage at the same time. So the reason why, I will say, the reason why this Ralts is not shiny is because if and when I do a Deltarune team, which is honestly inevitable considering I'm using Undertale, I think shiny Ralts fits Frisk better, which is why I think I use regular Ralts for Frisk. Just because also, like, Ralts is like a really perfect Pokemon for Frisk in my opinion. So this Archaludon is going to come in. The Twisted Direction is actually returned to normal, so I was like, okay, I can actually reset up the Trick Room here. It's funny that I actually ended up wasting all the turns of Trick Room with my Duskull. I was just so scared of that Lugia setting up Calm Minds on me. So this ends up being a Power Herb Archaludon, and it's going to go for the Electro Shot, and it's going to do massive damage. It takes me all the way down to 1 health, thanks to my Focus Sash. So let me go over the set on this really quick. So this was also a Trick Room Pokemon. I had Psychic as an offensive move just in case I get taunted. I had Encore, and I had Destiny Bond. So Destiny Bond is going to take down an opponent with it, assuming that, you know, it's a Ralts, so like what could it even do, right? So the Archaludon it's just gonna take me out with the Body Press, but that's fine because I get a crucial KO on this really bulky Pokemon, so that's great. I'm able to take down the Archaludon. That Pokemon has actually really grown on me. I really like Archaludon. So into Flower. Now this was the main Pokemon that I wanted to benefit from Trick Room. This is Min Speed. This is Max Special Attack. I have Giga Drain. No, I don't have Giga Drain. I have Grass Knot, I believe, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, and I have one other move that ended up coming in really handy in this battle. So the Galarian Soaking ended up Future Sighting me, and it's going to swap out into the Lugia on my Earth Power. So I was like, okay, well, I actually ended up... None of the moves that I had on this would actually kill it, and I really did not want this Pokemon going for a Recover or a Roost. So on this, the last move was Terra Electric, Terra Blast. So I really needed this as like a coverage option versus like flying types, especially like steel flyings like Corviknight and Skarmory that really walled this set. So the Terra Blast is going to take out the Lugia, hell yeah. So Lugia is going to go down, thank goodness. I don't have to deal with that Calm Mind sweeping threat. I'm going to take some Life Orb damage, and I'm going to take the Future Sight as well, which does a lot of my health. Thankfully, I live though, and the Twisted Dimensions are going to return to normal. So in comes Iron Valiant. Oh boy. So they're going to activate their booster energy, and I was like, yeah, How do I deal with this Pokemon? It's going to get that speed boost. I was really worried about any potential setup. Maybe they would want to like Moonblast me straight away. So I had this Choice Banded Skiddo. They're going to go for the Shadow Ball actually, just to try to like take me out. I lived, Unfortunately, I get a special defense drop. I was like, damn. I don't know if I would have lived this Moonblast afterward, but I would have got off a pretty huge, pretty huge, Leaf Blade versus this Pokemon. Would have done a sizable amount of damage, honestly. So into this Indeedee for Toriel. Now, this was a crazy set as well. So this was a bulky max defense Indeedee. I'm gonna kiss the Iron Valiant with the Draining Kiss. So on this, I had Calm Mind, Stored Power, Draining Kiss, and Rest with the Chesto Berry with max defense. So this was a bulky setup Stored Power Sweeper, which was very defensive. And I had Terra Fairy with Draining Kiss, so I could up the base power of Draining Kiss up to 60 base power. That Moonblast does a lot of damage, and unfortunately gets a special attack drop. Now, they actually Terra Steel. I didn't actually go for the Draining Kiss this turn, thank goodness. I actually opted to go for the Calm Mind. Just in case like they swap. They're gonna go for the Moonblast again, and I'm able to live it, and they get another special attack drop, damn, and I'm able to go for the Rest. I'm gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna have sweet dreams, and I was thinking, okay, well, even though it's Terra Steel, I could be able to 1v1 this. I don't think I'm gonna have enough Psychic Terrain turn because I'm not Terrain Extender or anything. So I'm gonna pop my Chesto Berry, and the Iron Valiant reveals Encore. I was like, oh no, damn. So I'm gonna be permanently locked into that Rest, and I was like, this is a bad matchup for me. I do not want to like stay in and keep sleeping when I'm awake. But like, I also really didn't have like the best switch into Iron Valiant. But they actually opt to go for Feraligatr on my swap out. Now I actually opted to swap out into my Flowey again just to sack it to Moonblast. That actually ended up working great for me because I believe, yeah, no, I'm 100% certain that this Feraligatr is Dragon Dance at this point. So maybe their thought process was they could easily set up Dragon Dances while I continuously use Rest. So that swap into my Flowey ended up actually being pretty crucial. It actually also ends up being Feraligatr. Now I have a Feraligatr of my own. So many Feraligatrs lately, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use my own Feraligatr. This was a heat set. So this was a Swords Dance Scale Shot Loaded Dice Feraligatr. Now, I actually ended up going for the loaded dice on this Feraligatr when they Dragon Dance, so I was like, oh shoot. So I actually ended up getting 5 hits, which is great because now a speed tie, and I was like, okay, 2 things need to happen. I need to win the speed tie versus this Pokemon, and I need to get another 5 hits. So I win the speed tie, so I was like, okay, great. So there's the second hit. So here's the third hit. I was like, okay, I really need the 5th hit. So there's that 4th hit, and I ended up getting the 5th hit. Oh my gosh. So that was crazy lucky. I was able to 1v1 that Feraligatr. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. Also, I will say that Undyne I use for Feraligatr, like, you can make the argument for, like, Gyarados or Vaporeon, but I think, like, with the way she's built, especially when she has, like, armor and everything, I think Feraligatr was, like, the most suiting for her. So I'm gonna go for that Earthquake on the Galarian Slowking. It's gonna opt to Future Sight me. So this was easily the best Pokemon on my team, by the way. It was such a good sweeper, especially outside of Trick Room. I don't think anyone really expects, like, Scale Shot from this Pokemon. But the Great Tusk is going to come in on my Liquidation, and I get a nasty, nasty crit. Oh my gosh. So I don't think I would have 2-hit KO'd this Pokemon either, especially since it revealed Leftovers. So I was like, wow, I actually ended up getting a crazy lucky crit versus this Pokemon. I didn't opt to go for Earthquake either, just because they had no Liquidation switch-ins, and I'm adopting that mantra of, your attack where your opponent cannot defend. They had no water type immunities or resistances at all. So back out into the Galarian Slowking they go. I'm gonna go for the Earthquake, and that's actually gonna be enough to take out the Slowking, which is great. I was assuming that the Regenerator was gonna be enough to allow them to live, but thankfully they died. And now the last Pokemon is the Iron Valiant, which I can easily take out with the Earthquake, and that's gonna be the end of the first game. So like I said, this Feraligatr was easily the best Pokemon on my team. It's just such a crazy strong Pokemon as well, and like with Sheer Force and Liquidation, it just hits so hard even without a Life Orb. So on to the second battle. This second battle was absolute nonsense. Like versus the first team was actually genuinely insane Pokemon. This team, well, okay, this Lucario has Bright Powder as the lead, so I was like, what the hell is this gonna be? So they're gonna Dragon Pulse me. I'm actually gonna set up the Trick Room on this because I didn't know what this Pokemon was gonna do. Lucario can actually run both physical and special. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm just gonna go hard out into my Flowey, try to get an Earth Power, just annihilate this Pokemon. They're actually gonna end up Bullet Punching me on the Switch, and that actually does a sizable chunk of my damage. Then it goes for Extreme Speed, so I was like, damn, okay. I better land this Earth Power, but the damn Bright Powder helped them to avoid the Earth Power, and I'm gonna go down to the Extreme Speed. No, that actually sucks. There goes my Trick Room Sweeper. Oh my gosh. So, I didn't really have the best answer for this Pokemon either, even though it's like Dragon Dance, Bullet Punch. Oh my gosh. So, I'm gonna set up the Psychic Surge. I'm gonna deny any priority moves, any bullet punching or any extreme speeding, and I'm gonna set up Calm Mind. I was like, you know what? Enough of this nonsense. I need to wall that Dragon Pulse. So they're gonna go for the Dragon Pulse again. So I was like, okay, that actually does nothing. So the Trick Room is gonna return to normal, and they're gonna end up close combating me, and that actually does so much damage. Damn, even with max defense. So here I was thinking, well, shoot, I actually went for another Calm Mind. So I was wondering, okay, well, I'm definitely gonna pop the Terra this next turn because I really, really don't want to die to this close combat. This Pokemon was actually very important in this game. So I'm gonna Terra into my Fairy type. Hopefully I could be able to live now that I resist the close combat and maybe get off a rest or maybe get off a Draining Kiss. So the Lucario is gonna close combat me and I barely live, thankfully. And so Lucario is gonna get its defenses dropped, and now I'm gonna go for that Draining Kiss. Because I was thinking, okay, well, they're going to be -2 defense, and that just destroys Lucario, thankfully. Oh my gosh, I just realized, if that got a Bright Powder miss, I would have been so screwed, because I would have used up my Terra. That was a demonic Lucario. Stay tuned. So, Lapras is going to come in. Now, Lapras is a really specially defensive Pokemon, so even with, like, +2 Calm Mind, even in Psychic Terrain, it doesn't even really take, like, it just does barely over half, so I was like, damn. It actually ends up psychicking me in the Psychic Terrain, which is funny. There actually ends up being leftovers, so I was like, okay, maybe it's like max health. So I'm gonna opt the Story Power again and just take out the Lapras, thankfully. Couldn't afford to kiss it, unfortunately, because of its massive special defense. I didn't know what else it was gonna do. So in comes Lycanroc. Oh my gosh, I'm always scared of this Pokemon. I knew Stone Edge was probably gonna take me out. They ended up being a quick claw Lycanroc dust. That is heat. Because, you know, Lycanroc isn't really fast at all or anything. So, into my Choice Banded Skiddo, they're gonna Accelerock me. It actually does barely under half, so I was like, okay, good. I can be able to get off the Leaf Blade versus this and maybe to kill it. But Sucker Punch crits me! Like, I got so unlucky with Azrael in all of my battles. It's so unfortunate. I will say, though, there was one battle where I ended up getting a kill against a King Gamut with a Choice Banded Stomping Tantrum. I had Terra Ground on that Azrael, and I had Leaf Blade, Wild Charge, Play Rough, and Stomping Tantrum. So this Lycanroc was proving really annoying, so I opted to go for the Memento here, get a free swap into one of my Pokemon, probably my Indeedee this turn. So yeah, I'm gonna go back out in tutorial. I was thinking, okay, well, I can set up free Calm Minds versus this, assuming they don't have Stone Edge, because they revealed Accelerock and Sucker Punch. And those are, you know, priority moves that I completely stuffed thanks to my Psychic Terrain. So in comes the Sceptile. Now, every single time I see Sceptile, I think, okay, this Pokemon now gets access to Shed Tail. It can Substitute Pass. So I'm always wary of that. So I had no idea what this Pokemon was going to do. If it was going to be a physical sweeper, if it was going to be a fully special set, or what. I'm actually going to go for the rest this turn. Now, admittedly, this was a little bit of a misplay on my part because I'm, like, stalling out my own, my own Trick Room, so I definitely should have went for the Calm Mind this turn, but I think I was very fearful of what this Sceptile would do, which is why I went for a rest, just in case they had, like, I don't know, like Leaf Blade or something that could crit me, so I was just being very cautious there, but I definitely should have went for like a Calm Mind this turn, because I would have had more turns with Trick Room to work with. So the Sceptile is going to end up going for the Giga Drain on me, so I was like, okay, well, it's special from the looks of it. I'm going to set up my Calm Minds, and it actually ends up being Life Orb as well. So, Twisted Dimensions return to normalcy, that's what I was saying earlier. They're gonna go for the Thunder Punch, they're like mixed, and they paralyzed me. I was like, no, that sucks. No, because like, I used up my Chesto Berry. Let's see, this is also why my rest turn was a really bad play. Because I used up my Chesto Berry, and I won't, like, I don't want to be like sleeping like on a Pokemon that could potentially set up on me. So, speaking of Pokemon that could potentially set up on me, here's a Dragon Dance Salamence, and I know that it's Dragon Dance Salamence because it just used Dragon Dance. Wow, amazing narration. By the way, that's a demonic play going for Dragon Dance while I'm paralyzed. So luckily I break through the paralysis, then I'm gonna go for the Draining Kiss, and I was like, oh sweet, I can take this out potentially, but it lived. Damn. So I'm gonna get a huge chunk of my health back. So I was thinking, well, I could probably live anything that this Pokemon can hit me with. It ends up being Rocky Helmet. Oh my gosh. So they're gonna go for the Earthquake on me, and thankfully I'm able to live that, but I get paralyzed. Oh man. So now the Salamence is gonna go for the Earthquake and take out my Indeedee. Damn. Um, that's really unfortunate because I know that this Pokemon is gonna be Moxie, and that's definitely really threatening. So don't worry, I had the big guns in the back. I had something to deal with the Salamence, and it's Ralts. So Frisk is gonna come back in. Now I did have my Focus Sash. If they were dual Wing Beat, then honestly, like GG, like there was nothing. Then that paralysis would have been extra unfortunate. But luckily they just Earthquake me. And here I was thinking, well, I don't want to go for the Trick Room because my last Pokemon is like a fast sweeper. So I'm just gonna take this out with the Psychic. I'm not gonna go for the Trick Room or the, like Destiny Bond shenanigans. Even though I definitely should have, now that I think about it. But oh my gosh, my Frisk is gonna get a Moxie boost. That's gonna end up mattering so much. So into the Lycan Rock they go. Now, I knew that they were gonna Excel Rock, but like I didn't want to switch into my other Pokemon and take any unnecessary chip damage. So that goes my roll. So once again, it's all down to Undyne here, my Feraligatr. They're gonna opt to Sucker Punch me. I almost went for the Swords Dance that turn actually, but here I'm gonna go for the Liquidation, and that's easily gonna be enough to take out the Lycanroc. Now they actually hadn't terrestrialized yet, so I was thinking, okay, well, what's their Terra gonna be? Their last Pokemon is Infernape, so I was like, okay, this is really scary because I could take this out with a Liquidation, but I don't know what their Terra is. So they're gonna end up being Terra Fire, so I was like, okay, maybe they just didn't have a better Terra option on any of their team. So the Infernape is gonna go for that Thunder Punch. I was like, oh my gosh, that I lived, thankfully. Oh my gosh, thank goodness. It was probably Iron Fist Thunder Punch, and the Liquidation is gonna be enough to take out the Infernape. Oh my gosh, what a close battle. Crazy. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to check out my Pokemon Theme Team playlist also as well, which is all of my Theme Team videos. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.